Uh, Today, I'll be discussing about some pertinent issues. These issues are related to Indian subcontinent and our relationship with neighbor countries. When we talk about the Pakistan, there is also an issue on Kashmir, recent attack on Kashmir, and that has been buzzing around. And we also need to know how Kashmir was originated, and most of you also know, and the kind of problem that Kashmir as a territory is having. And our relationship with Pakistan is also a matter of concern. And hence, it is important to understand the Indian foreign policy. And in one lecture which I have posted in the group, we will get to understand about the determinants of a policy, how to make a policy, what are the determinants of policy, how will you define a policy. So when we talk about a foreign policy has also certain determinants and objectives while it was formulated a long back, and it usually won't keep changing, because you see that foreign policy can also be changed when there is a revolutionary upturn of the region, or you can actually see revolution in the whole political system. Then only we can see that there is a change in foreign policy. Unlike the other policies, domestic policies, foreign policy usually uh, doesn't change. Okay, so we briefly discuss about Indian foreign policy. We can also bring in this Kashmir issues then. Uh, so, and in foreign, while discussing foreign policies, you will come to learn about our relations with the neighbors. There are certain aspects and inputs in a foreign policy which are being integrated to the policy issues, and that's how that shows the nature of our behavior, a country's behavior towards the neighbor. So, when you talk about the determinants, you first see national interests happen to be the very first determinants of the foreign policy, right? So when we talk about the national interest, our national interest lies in national security, security concern, and also development, economic development. Right after independence, you see that we have painfully accepted, we have realized that India is not a country which has lot of resources, lot of raw materials, but at the same time we do not have industrial setup. We do not have trained manpower to capitalize on the existing resources. So that was a painful realization, and which happened to make India not to be a power of bloc politics. And when you talk about the national interest, just because of the issues related to security, and when you see the issues related to security stem from the very geography and topography of India. So if you see the topography and geography of India, that is very intrinsic to India. At the same time, our land frontier meets Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Pakistan, right? And then we get to see that most of the time China as a superpower also um, exploit the neighbor countries against us. That is also another realization that India had, and it happened after 1962, after we actually have a foreign policy. You see, when China inflicted upon aggression in India, then India actually realized that we should be cautiously dealing with China. And because China exploiting the neighbor countries, even if we see that we have Myanmar, there is a frequent aggression from the Myanmar in the neighboring states, but still we accepted the democratic government. It's there is a military rule out there in Myanmar, so it has military rule has supported the democratic government, but India has accepted the democratic government which was being sabotaged, and time time and again India has actually provided support to the existing government, even if there are ideological difference, existing government in the neighborhood, although there are ideological differences with a few government. In Nepal also, Nepal had a few done, and later it was become a parliamentary democracy. So there are also many countries across the world. You get to see there is also is a transitions, and transformation of political system. But we are blessed that we did not have that kind of transitions. We have a stable political system right after independence until now. We have been like a very stable political system, although with lot of turmoil, but still political system is not overthrown yet. So we are placed in that way. So we see that geography happened to be a very important determinants of national interest because of different external conditions, and also because of their national interest of the neighboring countries, because they do have their separate interest. They also concern about their security. Okay, and hence you see that India requires to think about a kind of like fortifications and protection from the neighboring countries, and hence we focus on what security aspect and we focus on realism. So national interest is a determinant, and hence we see that our foreign policy is a blend of realism and idealism. So when we talk about the realism is based on the power. So first, national interest in the determinants, and our foreign policy is a blend. That's what made our foreign policy to be a blend of realism and idealism. So idealism gets or finds reflection in the principle of Mahatma Gandhi. Even Jawaharlal Nehru followed Mahatma Gandhi a lot. He was also an idealist. We talk about even our scriptures, Vedic scriptures, basically spoke of idealism apart from Kautilya's Arthashastra that was based on realism. So realism speaks of that anarchic nature of the state. The state system is very anarchic. Actually, there is no single power which will rule all the state. So, in international situation, international order is highly anarchic. No one is there to rule us. Not a single power can rule us. Although we eventually conclude or accept that US has been ruling us, actually no one can rule us. So, in an anarchic situation, there is no single power can rule us, and hence there is also an arrangement among the state that state themselves will try to maintain a balance of power, will control other state and gain power for themselves. So it is a kind of arrangement that is called balance of power, to gain so much power and try to control and check the power of others, to create that balance in an anarchic order. And hence it is very important for state also to control other state, to raise to superpower according to realist belief. So Indian philosophy is based on the realist belief, and that actually stemmed from the national interest. Okay, so when we talk about the idealistic flavor, we see that we actually seek for peaceful settlement of international dispute. We believe in world peace. We believe in universal brotherhood. We believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Right. So here in idealism, we talk about ahimsa, tolerance, peaceful means and ends. Right. Unlike the realism, idealism helps us to regain our unique identity and entity as India. Okay, because that's where our tradition lies. That's where our scripture has reflected upon. So when you talk about a blend of realism and idealism, it actually helps to protect our national interests. So our national interest first, to protect our territory from external aggression. That is our national interest, right? Our national interest lies in economic development, just because we do not have that modernized ecosystem, that industrial setup, as well as technology, and hence we need to get foreign aid. We need to rely on loans from world banks. We need to rely on foreign aids from other countries, and hence we see this is our national interest, which helps us to go for non-alignment. So we talk about non-alignment law. Non-alignment is a movement not to align with any other power bloc, and that has happened because of our national interest. So national interests happen to be the sole determinants of the foreign policy of all the countries. like other countries, we also have national interests made us go for non-alignment, not to align to any other power block. Okay, so when we talk about the non-alignment now, that is another objective at the same time. When see, determinants and objectives are different. When you talk about the determinants, national interest is our determinants, right? Even from national interest, you have also subset of other determinants, geography, topography. Okay, the military base, you get to see India has witnessed military base in Diego Garcia, that is the Nabhal base, 650 that naval base around like that naval arsenal from USA in Indian Ocean. So you actually see that we also need a protection. So that has been already, that ocean has also been occupied by the USA. And time and again, USA has also supported Pakistan. Even in 1965 war, USA supported Pakistan. 1971 war, USA supported Pakistan, right? So you cannot even say that you can be relying upon one single block for yeah, getting the aid or getting this ideological support, material support. Okay, just because we are newly independent country, at the same time we also believe in constructivist approach. So apart from realism, idealism, there is also constructivism that determines the nature, need, and identity of one countries. So our belief systems, our ideas, and our values will constitute us. Or constitute us will define us. There are certain social norms that will also constitute Indian identity. So we need to keep our identity intact in the foreign like front, and hence our national interest lies in our constitutive self of the nations. We in realism, in idealism. Okay, so apart from that, when we talk about the ideology of India, definitely we see this is a part of idealism. Uh, Idealism in broader sense will also, yeah, in broader sense, when you talk about the idealism, what we will actually find in institutional order, right? Institutional order in the sense that there is one institution who will regulate the peaceful conduct among the state. One institution, that is United Nations organizations, which is there, and which also necessitated the membership of the member countries the same time. And we become part of many more conventions which came out at different period of time from United Nations organization. We became the member party. We also have to have a contractual agreement with those conventions and the agreements, and we try to preserve the world peace. So there is an institution which is there to regulate the world peace at the same time, working for the world peace and peaceful settlement of the dispute. That's what. So that is based on, you see, idealism. So idealism will not, unlike realism, idealism will not say the world is anarchy. There is no one to rule, and hence, just like a human nature, you have to be selfish. A state has to behave selfish way, has to behave in self-aggrandizing way, and think only for their betterhood. But idealism actually said that there is an institution which will regulate, and you also give support to that institution. Institution will not be a regulating institution, but institution will regulate peace, and you are giving support in return. You are also getting support from that institution. So we believe in the collective security system, collective security. So whenever there is one party which will be an aggressor against the majority, all the major power and even minor power will come together to even posit ourselves against that aggression. So that is a kind of arrangement in which India believe in, and that came from the idealism. So apart from that, we talked about this peaceful coexistence and Panchashil. Panchashil happened to be another even determinants of Indian foreign policy. Non-alignment is one determinant. Panchashil also one determinant. Okay, and also objective. Now you see, Panchashil happened to be one objective. Now it is, you might say it is not no longer relevant because it was signed during 1954, but it is still relevant because that's how we project ourselves in front of the world, right? So on the basis of Panchashil agreement, we still believe in non-interference in any others internal affairs, in any other state's internal affairs. We also believe in non-aggressions. We still believe in um, is mutual benefit and also equality of the member state in United Nations organization. We also believe in peaceful coexistence of all the religions, all other ascriptive identities together. So when you talk about the Panchashil, that was an agreement that was signed in 1954 between Nehru and Soin-Law, and that actually uh, created the base of idealism, and that stemmed from the very idealistic belief system of India. But you see, it is not even irrelevant. Now also, we believe in Panchashil. Although China has violated this agreement, Panchashil agreement, and also already created aggressions during 1962. But we still believe in mutual benefit and equality. And you also see uh, we have Gujarat Doctrine, that is a kind of lineage of Panchashil. At the same time, Gujarat Doctrine also talks about in 1997, Gujarat happened to be, I think Gujarat happened to be the foreign minister. He came up with Gujarat Doctrine for unilateral concession to the neighborhood. That was also a kind of, you see, the lineage of the Panchashil. We've delineated the same principles, same mottos of Panchashil, peaceful coexistence. And for peaceful coexistence, what you need to do as a superpower within your belt, you are big power. Within South East Asia, we are a big power, big nation. Then you see Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Afghanistan, okay, Myanmar, and hence it is our duty to give unilateral concession to the neighbor, especially to Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and hence India behave in that way. And India, you talked about this Ganga water. There are certain treaties. There are some. If you go for case studies, some examples will always be there to understand our idealism, our belief system. So that unilateral concession has also made that multiple entry visa to Pakistan people. In 1997, initially it was difficult for even people from Pakistan even to visit India. They have to get the police clearance, police verification is required, and there is single entry visa. Now there are multiple entry visa for businessmen from the Pakistan, and that happened after 1997. And at one go they can have multiple entry visa, so they don't require any kind of police verification. Students doesn't need verification. Apart from those cultural groups, elderly people do not need, senior citizens do not need any kind of verification, police verification. And also, you see, uh, journalists do not need verification. Journalists, students, that are elderly citizens, and pilgrimage, they do not need any kind of verification. At the same time, they also increase the number of the screen. In 1997, you see the situation, increase the number of shrines which could be visited by this Pakistani pilgrimage. So for them, the land is open. So we have that kind of fellow feelings, and right from the very beginning. And when we come to Kashmir issue, we also look at it from idealistic point of view, not from the very realistic point of view. Okay, so you see that we believe in secular humanism, right? We believe in secular humanism. According to Nehru, we believe in scientific humanism, right? So when we talk about the secular humanism, scientific humanism, more or less similar, but we see the all religions at equal footing, and peace has to be there at equal footing at all places. So here, when you talk about Kashmir issues, Kashmir was a very, you see, pivotal issues. Like Junagadh, you know about Junagadh, Hyderabad, and Kashmir. There are three states actually. Junagadh has a Nawab, Hyderabad has Nizam. Nizam is the wealthiest person in the world at that point of time, wealthiest one, wealthiest person not in India, wealthiest person in the world. Okay, then Hyderabad, it was Muslim dominated state, and Junagadh was also Muslim dominated state. Hindu dominated state, sorry, Hyderabad was Hindu dominated state with a Muslim ruler. Similarly, Junagadh was also Hindu dominated state with a Muslim ruler. But Kashmir was Muslim dominated state with a Hindu ruler. So we actually see when 567 princely states were to accede to India. So there was also a kind of agreement that the princely states would happen to be ruled by the princes during the British government was supposed to be acceded to India, either India or like Pakistan, because Jinnah's two-nation theory has already made Pakistan away from India. So Pakistan, they believe that Pakistan is a specimen of two-nation theory. It's true, and Kashmir is also a specimen of two-nation theory. And because the two-nation theory said that there is a Hindu-dominated country, India, Hindu, and there is a Muslim-dominated country, which will be Pakistan. But at the same time, how can you secede Hyderabad from India? Because it is also surrounded by cities, Tamil Nadu, and all other countries. At the same time, the ruler of Hyderabad is Muslim. Okay, so Muslim, and that Nizam at that point of time during 1947 gave 2 crore, that is 2 crore to Pakistan. Okay, but he said that it is very difficult to even secede to Pakistan, so he decided to secede, like to accede to India. At the same time, ruler of Junagadh, he fled away to Pakistan. Not a ruler, he was basically a Nawab, yeah, ruler only, Nawab. He fled away to Pakistan, and the whole Junagadh came to India. And Kashmir was different, case was different. Hari Singh was the king, and Hari Singh could not take any decision. Kashmir was also a very beautiful place. You see, 86,000 to 24 square mile land area, landmass was there, and this said often said, and perhaps this is very easy for us to even blame Hari Singh also. But he was indecisive at the same time because he is a Hindu ruler, and so beautiful landmass is there. How to give it to Pakistan, you know, and hence intentionally I suppose intentionally he delayed. So he delayed, and he was also accused because of his indecision and intentional delay or indecision at that point of time to come either to India or Pakistan. So, and he decided later on to come to India, and that was after a forced attack from the Pakistan, when Pakistan tribal man actually came and occupied the Pak, that is Pak occupied territory. Okay. Then Hari Singh sought help from Indian government, said that okay, you also need to send force to repeal those tribal man and those aggressors, and decided to sign an agreement and secede to India. So initially during Mountbatten visit, because prior to independence, Mountbatten, as the state was divided, Indian land was divided, Mountbatten visited, made a frequent visit to Pakistan and India. So in Kashmir also, Mountbatten visited Kashmir to find out the ruler's intention to come either to India or Pakistan. Then Mountbatten did not get that response from Hari Singh. It is also said that Hari Singh didn't even see they come to sea of Mountbatten to airport. Okay, so Mountbatten couldn't find a solution to Kashmir issue. Okay, then when that issues kept on lingering, already we were independent nations, but there was also partition trauma meanwhile. So partition trauma was more acute for India than Pakistan. Why? Because we had to suffer from 3,000 crore loss. Because at that point of time, we also see there are people who migrated, displaced people migrated from one place to other place. And the Hindus and the Sikhs were also migrated from Pakistan. They came from Pakistan to India. They leaving all their positions, movable, immovable property out there in Pakistan. They came here, they settled here in India, right? So they are supposed to be rehabilitated, and number of people to be rehabilitated were more, right? Then even you see the number of people rehabilitated by the Pakistani government. More people are to be rehabilitated here by Indian government. So there are also few shop stores you get to see which were left in that way. But you see these are very less in number. And now those of you who read in Delhi University, you get to find there are some outer lines, Hudson Line area, Vijayanagar area. These are basically people reside there are rehabilitated people. You get to see those buildings. These are outer lines field, and most of these students from even Northeast India and also other parts of India who studied in Delhi University are residing in outer lines and Hudson line areas. Okay, Vijayanagar area is also there, but you actually see some good, well constructed house and the structures are there. And most of those structures and the house, they provide easy facilities, paying these facilities to students. And Delhi University hardly provide hostel facilities. In Dollar Trump, there is hostel facilities, but that is also very minimum. So limited number of seats are there, hostel seats are there, and hence you see for girls especially, it is very difficult to get a hostel, and at graduation level, and they reside in those PGs, and those are basically rehabilitated people. Those PGs which are being created. You see those structures in outer line, Hudson lines are there. So most of them are businessmen only. They are You won't find any kind of sarkari official out there. So they are businessmen. And they are rehabilitated people. They are Sikhs also, the Hindu and the Sikh people. They migrated, they're displaced. Which way? You see, the government has taken some step there to rehabilitate them, and that cost around 3,000 crore, you know, on the part of the government, Indian government, whereas the loss out there in Pakistan was 300 crore. So you can actually see in terms of the financial burden that we had to take. So you need to know about this very fact, and there is no manipulation of statistics. Okay, and then we also see when you talk about the Kashmir issue, Pakistan want Kashmir, saying that it is the symbol of two nation theory specimen, or maybe a specimen of two nation theory. Okay, because Kashmir is dominated by Muslim population, and hence it is to be included in Pakistan. The first argument, and they insisted upon international community also to speak in favor of Kashmir and to give Kashmir to Pakistan. They insisted upon many a times. Okay, after independence, after 1947, before 1947 also they insisted upon having Kashmir uh, within their territory. After 1947 also they have made many claims in front of international community for Kashmir. And their second argument was that there are rivers like Indus, Zilam, and Senab River. So these are all western directed river. We also have eastern directed river, Ravi, Sutlej, and Bias River, are eastern directed river. And but we see that basically that Indus is originated in Kashmir. Jhelum and Senab originated in China. So Pakistan has that argument that if India stop the flow of the river, then their whole economy will be ruined. But even if India assured time and again that it will not be done, but they themselves became very tenable on the Kashmir issue, that our economy is depends upon getting the Kashmir with us. And they also said that uh, 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 there is also a trade relation between Pakistan and Kashmir, according to that Pakistani claim. I'm telling you the arguments that they have given, and which was also refuted by India. That is important to understand what is being refuted by India and how it is being refuted. So you see that there is also cordial relationship between Pakistan and this India, just because of this the trade, that is that frequent trade, and also recruitment of armed personnel of Kashmiri Muslim to Pakistani troops, and that is one regions. And there is a timber market which is there in Pakistan for Kashmiri timber. Okay, and hence say that it will be easier to convince even the Kashmiri people that they are like somehow very closer culturally, even geographically to them. But according to India said that first the two nations theory cannot be a specimen because we believe in secular humanism, and having Kashmir with us is very crucial for our national interest and our our identity. Our identity is secular humanism, and hence we need Kashmir along with us. Okay, and second thing is that this that closure proximity issue is yeah, proximity issue cannot even be considered because Kashmir is also as close to India, and Muslim-dominated countries. There are also many Muslim-dominated, like states which are already part of India. Can you take them? So, like that way, India has refuted all the claims and able to convince international community to make Kashmir become a part of India. And meanwhile, what happened? You see, Hari Singh, when Hari Singh got that aggression from faced that aggression from Pakistani tribal man, Hari Singh has decided to accede to India, but plebiscite was not held. Whether plebiscite, we call it Ganavotana, plebiscite is supposed to be held, but plebiscite didn't held. And later on, we also see the Sheikh Abdullah, which happened to be one of the friend of Nehru, became the prime minister of prime minister. Tell me, not a chief minister, prime minister of Kashmir, and constitution was also adopted in 49, 50, 1950. Constitution, separate constitution for Kashmir was adopted in 9 November 1950. You see. So that's how the treatment was a bit different regarding Kashmir, and the issue was not solved. Issue related to like that occupied territory. This tribal man has already occupied certain territory we call POK, the occupied territory, and they installed a government that is known as Ajad Kashmir. They call it Ajad Kashmir government, right? So, and there were also some mission carried out. We have a McNaughton plan. Then we also have Nixon, Dixon mission, and also Graham mission. So these are the missions carried out at different period of time to uh, create a peaceful settlement of India and Pakistan dispute just after the partition. Okay, but they didn't come up with any kind of fruitful solution to Kashmir issues. Okay, so we'll be discussing more about Indo-Pak relationship. But you see that one is Gujarat Doctrine that is also seen from the idealism, 1997, gave numerous unilateral concession to even to Pakistani tourists, journalists, students, and all. And we get to see this Bangladesh, Indo-Bangladesh Water Treaty also made Bangladesh use more cubic meter of water during the lean season. That is also part of unilateral concession to Bangladesh. So I would love to share one experience when I went to Morocco. So my Morocco experience was very good because I'll tell you, as to people were so good, so polite, so amicable, I must say. And there might be few people who might get a cultural shock as you get to see after Saudi Arabia, you will have a different kind of the image come in front of you in terms of face, in terms of clothes. Okay, but yeah, apart from despite the differences in the clothing and all, they are very cordial. They're really very cordial to me, um, and I'm very thankful to them. But one incident I'll tell you that was very shocking at the same time because Morocco was a state having inhabitants of Spanish variety, and then we have Arabic, and you have French people. So there are French people, there are Arabic people, and there are the Spanish people. Okay, and at times it is very difficult also to communicate to them because they do not know English. Apart from a few people, especially those businessmen and car driver, they don't understand English. But still, the Arabic one, Spanish one, and French one, they try to communicate you. Germans are also there. There are some Germans. They try to communicate their best to make you feel comfortable to understand what is your problem and to solve it. And I remember, surprisingly, there is one person who is looking similar to to our that face cutting wise, our appearance. So having a similar kind of appearance, I met it, and that too before I came. Huh. Then what happened? You see, I must say that in Saudi Arabia, many Indians were recruited in this airport. It's a very big airport, and everywhere you get to find Nepali people, people from Bangladesh, people from Delhi. So there are people communicating in Hindi. So you don't even feel that okay, you are actually going outside, somewhere with going abroad and that beyond India. You actually see a mini India even in that airport of Saudi. Okay. But in Morocco, it's a different case altogether. I'm sharing that experience in Morocco. I actually asked a taxi driver to drop me to a Corniche. Corniche is a beach area out there. It's a very beautiful place. So I was alone that time. So I asked him. So one person, one Spanish person, he was after me whether I'll go or not. Then I said that no, I'll go later. First, let me drop my luggage there. Then I'll go. And he was waiting for me. I did not see him actually. Then there is another person. I said that okay, this might be of I said that it is look-wise, maybe from India, maybe from Pakistan or Bangladesh. So I, with due enthusiasm, I go and ask whether you will go or not. That was what happened? I asked him in English, can you take me to Cornice? Then you speak in Hindi. You are from India? He asked me. Okay, yes, I'm from India. So you must speak in Arabic, he said. I don't know English. He spoke that in English. You must speak in Arabic. I don't know English. Okay. Then it was so surprising for me. And when I came back, and I, I bet that he's from Bangladesh, because or he might not be from Pakistan, but definitely it might not be that sounding that legitimate or authentic on my part to say. But looking at the people of different appearances, all Spanish, German, is are of where I actually see that you can recognize them by their look. So you can also recognize it. But he demand me to speak in Arabic. Okay, so that was an incident I have faced there, and he belonged to the very land. I really know he knows Arabic, and then one person came. Don't mind him. He's he came to protect him at the same time. I don't know whether he is of Spanish and German because his look was very difficult to even decipher. So he said that you tell me now. I'm going to help you where you go. Okay, but later that Spanish that driver, which was very helpful out. So that was the incident. Okay, so yeah, out there also you see they have been very cordial, and all the students they were so welcoming. They greeted me. They even invited me to come and take classes for them. Okay, so I have some photographs also taken uh, with them, and it was a very good experience. And we have lot of similarities in terms of food culture and all. We get to find there is also a community kind of meal in Morocco, and you see the culture is a bit relaxed. Muslim culture, Islamic culture, although they wear hijabs and all, the Muslim culture itself is very relaxed out there in Morocco. You'll get to see even the black people. Black people are very honest out there. I have communicated within those days, and from my experience, I could actually found that they are very honest. Okay, in Morocco, they are very honest, and even German, they are very honest. Spanish and Arabic, they are a bit commercial. Okay, in Morocco, and I there are also people from Pakistan because initially we are also put to as a paying guest where the lady was from Pakistani. The landlord was from Pakistani. Had two wives. They also had a property in Dubai. like that. And they're rich people. All people out there in Morocco rich, except those who are migrated. So they are much richer than us. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, so you actually see that I get to find a kind of, you see, the and hard feelings among Bangladeshi people against us, because I could get, even you could also get it from his very appearance, that he looks like a people from Indian native. So a people from Indian native, and that's why I was like, a bit enthusiastic. Okay, he looks similar to me, similar to us, and I went to ask him, and then I got a response, which was very shocking for me. And when I was being received by even Moroccan people, they asked me, "Did you get any kind of cultural shock?" I said, "No, not now, but I get a shock. It's not a cultural shock. I shock before I leave like in Morocco, but that is a different like an experience altogether. Okay, so so things like that. So when you talk about the idealism, realism, we're still in the national interest. Okay, but I will not be able to take class, even if I plan to take 1 hour class, but I have some work to finish. Okay, so I'll be discussing about foreign policy and also India's relationship with the neighboring state. So this is a part on international communication. So we are not yet finished with political communication. Two lectures are supposed to be taken for political communication part, and but we have moved into international communication. So here basically what is important is to understand what is international communications. We will also have some understanding about political journalism and all, which is very important, political PR, political journalism, and about India's relationship with neighbor countries, with China, with even with the regional power bloc, with Asian countries, with Middle Asian countries. Okay, so we'll be also reflecting upon that from now onwards. And if anything is left, so I've shared this course outline. You go through it, and then you tell me.